Good afternoon. I want to apologize for the previous recording of this D'var Torah. Somehow, it became amazingly slow. So if you can speed it up, or if someday the world slows down, perhaps it will play correctly. This week's D'var Torah is called Bamidbar, in the wilderness, a place of potential. Our Torah is at the very essence of our identity. As Jewish mysticism teaches, Torah and the people Israel are one. It has been our guidebook from antiquity, informing us of our ancestors' pilgrimage towards God and of the actions and the single essential belief, monotheism, which defines our ancient yet modern tradition. We believe that everything is in our Torah and that each generation will find answers necessary for them to become part of the continuing ancient pilgrimage. One day, we believe, its values will shape a better world for all humanity. In the coming week, we'll celebrate Svuot, the holiday which commemorates the giving of the Torah, 50 days after we escaped from Egypt, an event we celebrated on Pesach. And Bamidbar, our weekly parasha, is amazingly appropriate as the parasha to introduce this significant holiday. With its very first words, "And God spoke Bamidbar Sinai," in the wilderness of Sinai, we are reminded of this pivotal event in our history. We are also reminded, however, of a mystery connected with this event. We're reminded that the Torah was given in the wilderness of Sinai. If we and the Torah are one, why wasn't the Torah given in Eretz Yisrael, our holy land, or even Yerushalayim, in Jerusalem? Our ancient rabbis teach that there's a great significance in the location chosen. It was not, they tell us, happenstance. If the Torah had been given in Israel, they suggest, that all the rest of the nations would say, it belongs to the Jews and not to us. But the wilderness belongs, similar to heath or common land, to everyone and no one. Therefore, everyone, all nations, are free to claim the Torah and to make it a guide for their lives. Indeed, the rabbis also teach that the Torah was given simultaneously in 70 different languages. This is a rabbinic biblical code for all the languages of the world. Thus again, we're reminded that the Torah is not our private property, but is instead universal. Jewish mystics add an additional understanding of Bamidbar, in the wilderness. They teach that without the Torah, each human soul is like a wilderness. And just as a desert becomes fruitful and beautiful when it rains, so too, when we take the Torah and remember that it is our very essence, then our souls can flower and express their hidden beauty. It was, however, not only the location, but also the means of giving that was both mysterious and important. The Midrash teaches that each Israelite felt that the Torah was given directly to him or her, and that they heard it in an appropriate way. A simple person heard evocative stories and basic concepts. A scholar heard complex thoughts, and a mystic gained insights into the mystery of the divine. This process of revelation continues. Our tradition teaches that each of us was present at Sinai. So too, we also hear Torah in our souls and understand it based on the needs and realities of our own time and place. Each of us counts, and each of our individual revelations of Torah, simple, mysterious, or complex, is essential. It is therefore perhaps not a coincidence that we're reminded of Sinai and also approach Shavuot with Parshat Bamidbar, with the beginning of the book of Numbers. In addition to its first evocative words, the parsha focuses on a great census taken of all the Israelite men, and though the parsha itself, written in antiquity, focuses on the men, its message is certainly universal, encompassing all of us. Each person was counted as they brought an identical half shekel to the tabernacle. Each person, no matter their status, was equal in the sight of God. If one person was missing, then the whole would be lessened. So too, our understanding of Torah depends on each of our individual revelations. We should consider that each of us has that pivotal piece, without which the rest is meaningless. I want to wish everyone a Hag Sameach as we approach Shavuot.